from Kyms Homestead. How are you today? All doing well, I hope? Well, in this video we're going to do a little gardening. Not much, just a little bit. It's now the beginning of autumn and it's time to think about getting the garlic and the onions in. Now, I don't have vegetable beds or anything like that yet, but I thought what I would do is a little container gardening and just put some of the bulbs that I've got with the garlic. That's last year's garlic that we harvested together. I would start by stratifying the bulbs and putting them into the fridge for a little while. I've also got some little bulbs of onions which I started the seeds with you last year, and because of the move and everything else they didn't get put out into the ground. So now they are just tiny little wee bubbit onions. So I thought I'd give it a go. Stick them in the ground and see how they go. But I'm going to put them into a large pot rather than in the ground. But we'll do it together and we can see how it goes. Anyway, let's get into it. It's now time to process all the garlic that we dug up out of the garden just before I moved the homestead. So I've picked out a few of the best bulbs that I have, and now we need to stratify them, which is putting them basically into cold storage to synthesize a really cold winter. Without that, as you saw when I dug them up, I was getting like big bulbs like this, but it was just one bulb and they hadn't split. Now that is because the bulbs didn't go through a cold enough winter. So what I plan on doing this year is putting them into the vegetable crisper in my fridge just for a little while. It's almost time to start planting garlic, so I've actually had these in the fridge for about 2 or 3 weeks. So another couple of weeks and then I'll start planting them out. If you purchase organic garlic, it's usually soft-neck garlic, and they use soft-neck garlic in the supermarkets because it will store for 10 to 12 months easily. So it's not too late now to start planting your garlic. If you happen to be at the store and you see some organic garlic, you might want to pick up a bunch. Only use the large cloves that are on the outside of the garlic. Don't use the small inner ones, because obviously the larger the bulb means the bigger amount that you'll get. So instead of one this size, you'll get one this size. So there's quite a bit of difference. So what I will do is I will take the garlic paper, which is the dried skin of the garlic, off. Not all of it, just enough so that I can get into the bulb. And these are the size of the bulbs. Really large compared to, where are we? One of these. This one is the soft neck garlic. Now this is a large bulb for a soft neck garlic, and you can clearly see the difference. Obviously the elephant garlic, it is named after the elephant because it's somewhat larger. So I'm just going to separate some of these large bulbs. These small ones I'll put to one side because I will eat them. But the large ones, see, this has the stem, the old flower stem. Just take off a little bit of that excess paper. I won't peel it back right to the garlic because the paper still protects the garlic bulb. Okay, that's one. I probably won't plant as much this year. I did have a reasonable amount, but once again, even though that's still big enough to plant, I'm better off putting it in my food rather than planting it in the ground. And use the space that I will have for the bigger ones. Obviously, because my garden is, well, non-existent at the moment, but I'll be planting up in pots this year. I have to be careful of how much space that I need to be using. Man down. Oh. It's now time to process all the garlic that we dug up out of the garden just before I moved the homestead. So I've picked out a few of the best bulbs that I have, and now we need to stratify them, which is putting them basically into cold storage to synthesize a really cold winter. Without that, as you saw when I dug them up, I was getting like big bulbs like this, but it was just one bulb and they hadn't split. Now that is because the bulbs didn't go through a cold enough winter. So what I plan on doing this year is putting them into the vegetable crisper in my fridge just for a little while. It's almost time to start planting garlic, so I've actually had these in the fridge for about 2 or 3 weeks, so another couple of weeks and then I'll start planting them out. Now these are hard neck garlic. I do have a couple here that are soft neck garlic. Now the difference between hard neck and soft neck: the hard neck garlic gets like a big long stem and it's quite hard, and those ones are the ones that produce what is called scapes. Scapes is the flower of the garlic. Now the scapes you can use like a herb, just like similar to garlic chives. So you can chop it up, you can dry it, you can freeze it, you can use it in your cooking. It has that real garlicky taste. It's beautiful. Very prized actually. But the thing is with hard neck garlic is it doesn't store or last very long. It usually only stores for about 5-6 months, maybe 7 months if you're lucky. But I have here some elephant garlic, which is what I'll be planting out this year. It has a slightly milder flavour than other garlics, and I prefer it because it has quite large bulbs, and I like the milder flavour and not as sharp as some of the other garlics. Now the difference between the hard neck and the soft neck is the soft neck garlic, which has the soft necks of course, which is what you see in the supermarkets. So if you're wanting to get some garlic to plant, you can plant garlic that you purchase from the supermarket, but it may have a growth inhibitor that has been sprayed on it. But if you purchase organic garlic, it's usually soft neck garlic, and they use soft neck garlic in the supermarkets because it will store for 10 to 12 months easily. So it's not too late now to start planting your garlic. If you happen to be at the store and you see some organic garlic, you might want to pick up a bunch. Only use the large cloves that are on the outside of the garlic. Don't use the small inner ones, because obviously the larger the bulb means the bigger amount that you'll get. So instead of one this size, you'll get one this size. So there's quite a bit of difference. So what I will do is I will take the garlic paper, which is the dried skin of the garlic, off. Not all of it, just enough so that I can get into the bulb. And these are the size of the bulbs. Really large compared to, where are we? One of these. This one is the soft neck garlic. Now this is a large bulb for a soft neck garlic, and you can clearly see the difference. obviously the elephant garlic. It is named after the elephant because it's somewhat larger. So I'm just going to separate some of these large bulbs. These small ones I'll put to one side because I will eat them, but the large ones, see, this has the stem, the old flower stem. Just take off a little bit of that excess paper. I won't peel it back right to the garlic because the paper still protects the garlic bulb. Obviously, because my garden is non-existent at the moment, but I'm cleaning up in pots this year, I have to be careful of how much space that I need to be using. Hang down. These clothes can get awfully big. That's one glue. That's half the colour. Right, these smaller ones I will use during my cooking. I think I've got enough there for a little bit. And these papers can go in the compost. Right, now for the soft neck garlic. Right, there we go. This is what I'll be planting this year. Now I've got just one of those mesh vegetable bags, so what I will do is I'll put the elephant garlic in this one, and I'll grab another bag for the other garlic so that I can keep them separate, and then I know what I'm planting. Okay, there's that one. This one will go into another bag, and they will both go in the vegetable crisper and stay there for another 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks, depending on when I get around to planting it. And then I will bring you back when I'm planting it. Well, it's been quite a few months since these were put in the freezer and then taken out, and it's time to start planting the garlic. So I've got quite a few of the normal soft neck garlic here, which is just starting to poke some green out of the top, and all my elephant garlic here. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to run the soft neck around the outside of these beds and the hard neck on the inside, mainly because it's easier to get the scapes when they start forming. So all I'm going to do is take out a bulb, see the pointy bit? That goes up. The flat bit goes down. And basically plant it one bulb deep using the 2-finger method. Some of them are even starting to form roots. Now I'm planting them about 6 inches apart. Look at that for a bulb. That's half my hand. And about now, I'll probably fast forward. Now for the soft neck. So these ones I'll probably plant about 4 inches apart. Okay, so now the garlic is planted. Probably got a little bit more inside. I was going to vitamize it all and mix it with a bit of oil and put it in the fridge, but it's all taken root, starting to sprout. So I think I'll pick out some really good ones out of that and bring it out and plant it. I don't need that much garlic. There's quite a few spots there that I can still plant up. I put a stick down where I planted the last bulb of soft neck garlic. I do need some more of that. And I've still got another whole bed there, well actually 2 beds, that I can plant some hardneck garlic in. So at least then I'll have the garlic planted this year. It's just past the middle of winter. Yes, I am a bit late in planting it, but it won't really take off that much until springtime anyway. And hopefully the weather will be starting to warm up soon and I can get out into the garden a bit more. Now in these rich horse manure compost beds. Hopefully I shouldn't have to feed them as much. I will still have to feed them. It will be more or less a phosphorus potassium mix so that they bulb up, and because they've been in the fridge for quite a while, they should split into proper size garlic, whereas last year I got those big, just single round cloves of garlic. They just didn't split last year, and that was because I didn't put them in the fridge and let them sit in there for a month or two beforehand, and it just wasn't all that cold last winter. So I'm hoping they will split and go really well this year, because last year's crop was terrible. But anyway, at least I've got enough to plant this year. So I'll be back again and show you the progress come springtime. Well, it's the start of springtime, and as you can see here, I'm planting out kohlrabi, and the elephant garlic is coming up very nicely. It's bulbed out. The stems seem to be quite strong and vigorous, and all is growing really well. And I've decided to plant kohlrabi in behind it, and this is just before the tomatoes went in. Here is the first bed, and I'm spacing out my cucumbers and tomatoes ready for planting. The garlic is, like the elephant garlic, is really doing well. There's quite a lot of growth on them. The soft neck garlic, not so much. There's hardly any leaf growth on the soft neck garlic, and I really didn't get very much soft neck garlic this year. It either slipped down under the branches, or I actually think the bulbs rotted away. So unfortunately I didn't get very much of the soft neck garlic as a harvest this year, so I'll have to be buying new bulbs. Now this is planted. My iceberg lettuce is really doing well. I'm very pleased with the iceberg lettuce. Well, g'day everybody, it's round 2. The day's not quite so beautiful or hot, thankfully. It's cooled down considerably. We were supposed to get quite a lot of rain and storms and all that sort of whiz-bang stuff. Never happened. Honestly, I could spit more than we had rain. And we really need it. But nevertheless, it's supposed to rain in the next couple of days as well, which I never got to harvest the garlic yesterday, so in a way it's a good thing. It's going to be quite considerably cooler, and therefore I'm going to be able to harvest it hopefully in much more comfort. The garlic's been growing now for I think I planted it in April, May. I'd have to check back on my records to see when I actually planted it. So it's been in the ground for around about 6 months. I never got any scapes this year. I didn't, well, I was hoping to get them, but it never happened. Probably I planted them way too late. I know I was late planting, but that happens. And I'm late digging them up, but a lot's happened this year. So, and because they're planted not in their own bed, which is probably what I should have done and will do next, I have interplanted them with my current crops, which is mainly the tomatoes. I think I was a little eager to try and get something in the ground, and they were more than ready. So I'm going to have to be fairly careful and go through and dig them up manually, and try not to disturb the plants that are currently there. So on one side of the bed I have soft-neck garlic, and on the other side of the bed I have elephant garlic. So let's see how the tubes did this year. Be interesting to know. Nice little cucumber. I'll take that. Ooh. Well, it's raining. Finally. My camera's hasn't got water wings, so unfortunately I wasn't able to bring you out for the rest of the harvest. Not that there was much of a one. So I got this little container full of garlic. Mostly it's a pig basket, really. Mostly it was elephant garlic that I got, and it's single bulbs. So needless to say, I won't be saving anything from this year's crop to become next year's seed. I'll just get fresh stuff next year. Bit disappointed in it, considering how much I put out. But then again, it was a new, brand new bed. There's a lot of sticks and that still underneath the compost and the soil there. So I think a lot of the soft neck garlic is either rotted or it's gone in underneath the branches and dropped down, because the whole beds, which I knew they would do, they've all dropped down quite dramatically, down to about half of what they were, because I really filled them quite high. So, but I'm not unhappy with that. I've still got quite a lot of garlic in the freezer from last year, and I've got pretty much no fresh garlic left, which is fine, because as I said, I've got a huge big bag full of garlic that I processed and froze. So, and plus I've got jars of garlic cloves that have been preserved in oil, that's there in the fridge. So I've got plenty of garlic to last me another good 12 months. So I'm not unhappy with this harvest. Whenever I want fresh garlic, I've got it there. So that's fine. I've washed all the mud off, because yeah, it was mud. And I'll let this cure out on the table out here for probably about a week. Let it create a skin around it, and that way it will preserve for 3 to 6 months about. By then I'll be ready to process it into something. So that's it for 2024 garlic harvest. As I said, not what I was expecting, considering the amount of cloves that I put out, but not unexpected either. And I'm reasonably happy with what I've got. The onions, they're nowhere near ready to come out yet. Once again, brand new beds. I multi-sowed. I'm reasonably happy with what I've got there. But if I wanted to process a whole heap of them, it wouldn't be anywhere near enough. I'd have to buy onions. But I've still got some in the freezer, and there's more than enough there for fresh eating when I want it. I just go out and pick the biggest bowl, and it makes room for the next one. Unfortunately, as I said, I can't show you because my camera doesn't have water rings. But I'm sure you can imagine what onions look like in the ground. Alright, that's it for the garlic season for 2024. And if you got anything out of it, please give me a big garlicky thumbs up. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to see more of this content, please leave a comment in the description, in the comments box. And I will catch you again very shortly with another video. Bye friends.